What is up, everybody, and welcome back. This week we have the Memorial Tournament on tap, and it's an exciting week for yours truly. I will have a baby girl by Friday morning at the latest. So yeah, should be a ton of fun. Can't wait to be a girl dad. We're so excited. But we're here to talk some golf, and I will be doing most of my golf content still, even though I will be taking NBA and MLB coverage off, but I'll still have my articles up, and then I'll still try to do this video and my model each and every week, even while I'm on paternity leave. So don't want to leave you guys hanging. But as far as the course goes this week, we have Muirfield Village, one of the most difficult tests on the PGA Tour. It's been a single-digit winner in terms of under par in 3 of the last 5 years. And Jack Nicklaus, anytime we get like a decent winning score here, he goes and renovates the place and makes it even tougher. So it's a par 72, measures just under 7,600 yards. The fairways here, pretty narrow. They're tough to hit. If you do miss the fairways, it's really hard to hit the greens. The average green regulation rate from the rough last year was 35%. And the overall green regulation rate was only 54%. So even if you do hit the fairway, it's still going to be tough to hit these greens, which is going to bring around the green and scrambling into play. The greens here are pretty small and such thick rough that you're just going to have to kind of get lucky around the green, or, if you know where to miss, I think that's going to be important this week. If I'm not factoring in anything all that much, it's going to be strokes gained putting, because it's so demanding tee to green that I'm willing to take my chances with bad putters rather than bad ball strikers. It's going to be a long test. It's going to be difficult. Anytime you can save par here, it's going to be a pretty good score. And we should have a very deserving winner at the end of the week. So at the very top, let's look at off the tee metrics. So this week, I'm not looking at strokes gained off the tee at all. I'm looking at good drive percentage, and I'm looking at total driving. On approach, I got 12% weighted to the different time periods, and then 3% weighted to the expected column here. Nothing on green regulation. I don't mind bumping this up a little bit this week, but I have it at 0% right now. Strokes gained around the green, pretty high at 8%. I only have putting weighted at 4%. So you're going to see a lot of ball strikers pop in this week's model. Birdie or better, I have it 3%, and bogey avoidance, I have it at 6%. Course history, 6%. Strokes gained on long and difficult courses over the last 3 years. You got Scheffler, Xander, Morikawa, Henley, and Hovland kind of leading the way there. Strokes gained on courses where it's difficult to gain off the tee, difficult to gain on approach, and difficult to gain around the green. These are all filters that you can do on the Rabbit Hole by BetSperts. So guys that project the best with those filters selected, you have Scheffler, Hideki, Colin Morikawa, Xander Schauffele, and Max Homa, who hasn't been very good recently. And then we have the form. I have each of these weighted at 5%. I bumped up the top 5% finish a little bit more than usual because there's only 72 golfers in the field. The top 50 and ties, as well as anyone within 10 shots of the lead, is going to end up making the cut. So I want upside over safety this week. So that's kind of why I put this at 5% this week. Then we have the long-term stuff. Over the last 3 months, is just a pure strokes gain basis. As you can see who has been playing really well recently. And then over the last 12 months, and then the last 18 months. And again, I don't have this weighted this week, this column here, because it's all accounted for in these 3 columns here. So I don't want to double count the long-term form too much. Field strength, I have it at 8%, just guys that play in the strongest fields. So somebody like Harry Higgs, who's been playing on the Korn Ferry Tour, if he has really good stats, we want to negate that a little bit because of the fields that he's been playing against. So at the very top, we have Scotty Scheffler. No surprise there. Only a rating of 88.9. So typically when Scheffler's in the field, we have him with a rating, in the high 90s. I think last week it was 98.1. And there's really no strong case against him as a play in a vacuum. He's finished T8 or better in 6 straight events. He won this event last year. He's the best tee to green by a mile. And, he lost strokes putting last week, still finished T4. So on paper, he's a great play, but I don't really love the lower 7s and the high 6s, and really anyone in the 6s outside of Bud Cauley. So since I don't feel great about the value plays, if you play Scheffler, I think you're left with an average of $7,300 per golfer, and I just don't feel great about the next 5 golfers that I'm selecting that price range making the cut. So single entry, I think I'm going to take my chances with the fate of Scheffler. It doesn't feel great, but just due to roster construction and kind of the guys that I like this week, I'm not going to have a ton of Scheffler. In MME, I'll still try to get, 20 to 30%. But in my main lineup, I think I'm going to start in the 9Ks. My problem with Xander and JT, if you come over here, their good drive percentage are both pretty low. And then their total driving is not that great, especially recently. So if you can't drive the ball well here, keep it in the fairway, you're going to be behind the 8-ball because the rough is so thick. And then all of a sudden you're just in scrambling and defense mode. And that's tough to do at this course. So I'm not going to play a ton of Xander or JT just because they're not driving the ball very well recently. I do like Colin Morikawa, a guy that hits a ton of fairways, good iron player, pretty good short game too. He's finished runner-up here a couple years, and he actually won on this course in 2020. It was the year that COVID happened, and then they did 2 straight events at this course. It was set up a little bit differently than the Memorial Tournament, but still, he has won at this course in his career. Love Tommy Fleetwood this week. He's been playing well, T4 last week, and a guy that doesn't have a weakness in his game. Russell Henley just really projecting well for me, 8,400. And it's because he's very good driver, very accurate driver of the ball, very good approach player, very good around the green. So a guy that I think has some upside on a course like this. Corey Connors I'm fine with, really good ball striker. He hasn't been great at this event. I mean, he's been fine, but I don't know. I would like to see a couple higher finishes from him, but he's been in good form for a while now. So no issue with Connors. He does project pretty well for me. Cantlay did win here in 2020, but that was the event where Rahm had to withdraw because he tested positive for COVID after the end of the 3rd round, where he had like a 5-shot lead over Cantlay, and then Cantlay probably should have finished second that week, but got the win because Rahm had to withdraw due to COVID. Lowry, one of my favorite plays, 8,700, accurate off the tee, good iron player, good short game. Kind of take your chances with the putter. Moving down, Siwoo Kim's got 5 straight top 30s on tour, 5 straight top 20s at this event. Love that. Going to play him in all formats. I think Keegan's safe, but I do worry about his upside. Just hasn't played great at this event over the years. So I don't know how much Keegan I'm going to get, even though he does project well for me. And then Sungjae, I don't know what to do with Sungjae. The driver's been good. The approach play has been really bad, but I mean, when it comes to good drive percentage, total driving, and then around the green play and putting, he's one of the best in the field, and he does have a really good track record at this course. Yeah, I'm probably prefer Sungjae over Keegan this week. As we move down, probably not going to play Hovland because I worry about his short game. Berger missed the cut last week. Interesting bounce back candidate there. I do like Aaron Rai, a guy that's very accurate off the tee, good iron player, good around the green. Similar to Shane Lowry in that he just kind of take your chances with the putter. I'm going to be off of Ludwig. I think it's a good spot for Tony Finau too. So he's known as a bomber, but that's really not his game anymore. He's 7th in this field in total driving over the last 3 months. He's a good approach player, good around the green. Not so much over the last 3 months, but historically. And he's been really good here. He's finished T13 or better in 5 of his 8 appearances at Muirfield Village. Denny McCarthy almost won here before. It's a really good course setup for him. He said many times that he loves a difficult golf course. And then the only golfer in the 6s that I feel good about is Bud Cauley. He's finished in the top 10 in 4 of his last 7 starts, and all of them were on pretty difficult courses. He was T44 here in his last appearance. He's a guy that very good around the green. He's gaining strokes, ball striking too. So I think he makes a lot of sense at this course. And I don't mind Adam Scott, but man, it gets really thin down here. I just don't feel great about any of these guys making the cut, even though, 55 of the 72 golfers or whatever are probably going to make the cut. But for that reason, I'm probably going to go more balanced. I like a lot of the guys in the 8s. I like a few guys in the 9s. And that's going to be my strategy for the week. So best of luck. We'll catch you back here next week. Good luck, everybody.